Shaq's fit in there better than I ever thought he would. For them to spend 2 minutes last night on television, the two of them, Shaq and Barkley, trying to get through serious analysis as Ernie tried to push and prod them to, will you guys please be serious and break down this very important game between the Lakers and the dynastic Warriors. Please be serious. And for 2 full minutes, the two of them, through just laughter, they didn't say anything in these 2 minutes of television. Through just laughter, you knew they were laughing at Anthony Davis leaving a basketball game with a concussion in a wheelchair. They were trying to do commentary about it, but they were laughing. And they're like, can we laugh at concussions? Can we laugh at a wheelchair? And Charles, with his hand, was just rolling his chair while laughing and trying to say, this is what the series is. But quietly and privately, they were absolutely, for 2 minutes, laughing at Anthony Davis, laughing at street clothes, laughing at a concussion. And Ernie's like, are we going to do this or are we not going to do this? And all they did was laugh. Funny, not funny, that in a game the Lakers needed, that Mike Greenberg said you should rest the starters because of this particular scenario. Anthony Davis in trouble for the Lakers makes them lose that series. Anthony Davis injured. No one trusts him from game to game. I mean, it's either you're great and you can win us the championship, or we don't trust you to stay healthy. We think you're soft. We think your body is capable of breaking down at any second.
Well, that's why you don't take the risk in Game 5, because everyone knows your body stays healthier when you're playing at home.
We don't know yet if it's a concussion. It's still called a head injury at this point. The Lakers were optimistic, reportedly.
Is there a head injury that's not a concussion?
Yeah, if you got a bruise.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
Orbital
Yeah,
bone.
but he didn't have a
Fracture.
If he didn't, yeah, but wouldn't a fracture result in a concussion?
Not necessarily.
necessarily.
Concussion
You can break your skull but not get a concussion?
Yeah, because a concussion is your brain.
Yeah, but I feel like if you break your skull, like the brain's getting impacted.
If you crack like your orbital bone, like she said, like that doesn't.
You
touch
might
your
not.
brain.
I'm not
It's
a doctor.
not necessary. But yeah, we're not doctors, and we're not trying to do med school here. But the point is.
He got your ass.
You got.
He shut up immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, no.
Okay. All right. So you want, I did. Okay. Go ahead. I can't. That is I'll give that to Amin. If you guys believe this is something that can train me to reel it in because someone must be heard on the subject, if there is a sound that the group can make to alert me of this, okay, I mean, the floor is yours, but I want to know why that worked and what it was, and is it part of your child raising techniques, that thing that you just did to stop me?
No, it's not what happens when you're a kid at school and you're in arguments all the time. That's how you learn. No. If he's out with a concussion, he's clearly going to be out for Game 6. He's not going to be able to play. You're not going to clear a concussion protocol that quickly. So if he's out for Game 6 and the Warriors end up winning, then you have a Game 7 back in San Francisco. There's a real life chance that this was a massive, not only series-altering, not only championship-altering, but perhaps legacy-altering event, all at the foot of Anthony Davis gets hurt. We were talking about it yesterday, right? Like, why do certain things persist? Why do certain reputations persist? And someone,
you're on with me, and I am making the argument of this guy is an alien, and he's one of the best people to ever do that way. Mm-hmm. And the community, Shaq, Barkley, you, laughs at what they perceive as his untrustworthy frailty, that he's not tough enough. So much so that Shaq and Barkley are laughing in their chair for 2 minutes at brain stuff.
Well, no, being wheeled out does feel a little extreme. Like I don't think they're laughing at the brain stuff. I think they're laughing at the fact that we have a wheelchair appearance in the same way that we laughed at Paul Pierce being wheeled out. Like, the wheelchair appearance is always just kind of like, okay, relax, put it back a bit.
It is interesting, though. I mean, given that you just made a joke about an NFL player with a head injury who got stretchered off a field, like, none of us would have laughed at that. But, like, we find it more acceptable when it's basketball for some reason.
Oh, no. See, this is where I was going with it, Jessica, because I can laugh with them and love them, too. And they are the meatheads from a bygone era who would take elbows to the head. They were really tough. Both of them, I mean, you can make the argument on Shaquille O'Neal being as tough as anyone who's ever played that game because he played it more physically than anybody else did. And they laugh at the toughness of Anthony Davis. Shaq takes pride in, my dad's a military guy. I'm never giving compliments to this historic Laker who's not the big man I was, out there on the perimeter, floating around, shooting threes, not being the center that I was and Kareem were for the Lakers.
To be fair, Shaq also missed a quarter of a season due to turf toe. Now, I don't think turf toe is I think turf toe is a very painful injury.
It's awful.
It's awful. It has a silly name for something that's actually very painful. But also, I don't know that you get to laugh at how tough someone is when you missed a lot of time due to turf toe. And when asked, why didn't you get this taken care of in the offseason, his answer was, I got hurt on company time. I'm going to heal on company time. So I don't know if he's the prime example of how to handle injury or toughness in that regard. But again, I stress, I don't think the joke is that, Anthony Davis got concussed or he got his bell rung or whatever you want to call it. I think the joke is that we had a wheelchair out there for it. That's not a concussion symptom.
Okay, but if I may, all right, if I may. Now, I'm not a professional athlete. I'm a coward. I'm not tough in any way.
Are you a professional coward?
I'm kind of a professional coward. That's what a critic is. So I'm kind of a professional coward, yes.
Bags.
I've passed out recently multiple times.
Yeah, that's soft, yeah.
And that's just generally soft. But if someone in that instance, if I'd been at work because of whatever reason, because I'd lost my balance before I went down, I would have appreciated a wheelchair. It would have been very nice to not have to limp to a locker room. I understand that you want to convey toughness.
It also would have been funny watching you get
wheeled out. How many people would it take to wheel out Dan?
I mean,
You are
that's
all
unnecessary.
terrible.
All right, go now. Go
I like
sit
this
down.
game, though.
No. This is why his judgment can't be trusted.
No, and this whole wheelchair stigma is actually something that I've been personally affected by. My mom refuses to sit in a wheelchair because she's
because she's tough. That's
well,
why.
to the point where she would rather risk falling and hurting herself than just letting someone push her around because she just sees it as something that is lesser than, and it just comes to social stigma.
I have Dan with a bunch of dogs in front of him pulling his wheelchair. Mush.
Okay,
Mush.
I mean, you're clearly the toughest. You ran off the court when Tim Duncan yelled in an NBA game. These people are tougher than we are.
Yeah, but at the same time, you'll never see a hockey player wheelchaired off the ice.
Agreed, but there's
you'll see them stretchered off, but I've never seen a wheelchair on the ice. It also, while it
How are
does
they going to
seem
get it on the ice? The little doorway is too small.
they fold.
They fold.
They
Panther
fold.
defenseman got
about
hit in
that.
the eye and missed 2 series.
I've seen Evander
Shifts.
Kane and Richard Zednik and Clint Malarchuk cut major arteries, and they all skated off the ice.
Listen, gentlemen.
Bros, you bros are so tough. God, men.
I do like
Men
the
are
game
crazy.
of funniest sounding ailments, gout.
Okay, no, I don't want to play that game with you right now, and I would like to team up with Jessica because she's right here. Because look at all of these ancillary tough guys, all of us, Roy and Mike and Amin, the toughest. Amin, who ran off the court.
I would never walk in a wheelchair.
I would never. If I were dizzy and if I were dizzy and my head hurt and I was worried about my head, it'd be nice to have the help of others in a wheelchair. I'm with you here, but Amin, now go sit in the penalty box for moral crimes, for being insensitive, for body shaming me, for making fun of wheelchairs. Take your masculinity, your toxic masculinity. I'm going to be tougher. I'm going to be tougher than the next guy. Get out of here.
That's a double minor.
And I cannot. Charlotte, good luck. Good luck.
That's actually what I told her on the phone.
All right. Good luck, Charlotte, with all of that. Doesn't realize he's become an old sports caveman. The wheelchair is to be mocked. Seriously.
Coxsackie virus.
He was saying before he left that New York fans and Miami fans should indeed insult each other by calling each other coke suckers.
Dropsy.
That's a Downton Abbey disease.
Maple syrup urine disease. This is from a Gizmodo list.
Good source.
What am I to do, Chris Cody?
My urine becomes maple syrup?
Yeah, you gonna brush by that?
That would be awkward. And cool.
Is there a Maple Leafs joke to be made here?
I'm troubled. Chris Cody, I think Meadowlark has made a horrible decision to give Amin his own show with anybody.
I'm going to tune in.